Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and today is a bit of an update of a live stream from August 13th this year, 2020, where it was called More Than Mini Decks, where I shared with you some mini decks, these cute little decks that come in the hinged boxes. If the creator had done a larger deck, I was comparing the artwork and the decks of the same creator. And since I made that video, I have also acquired this beautiful book by Akal Pritam, and I'm going to share with you bits of this book today, as well as go through some of the decks for those of you that missed that live stream on August 13th. Let's begin with the book, Self-Love, Finding Peace and Happiness. I cannot explain the mystery, the magic, the forces that have created you. I can tell you, though, that you deserve to completely forgive and love yourself, and that once you do, you will know the unknown. So I don't know if you can see this, but the binding is coming apart down here. This is a brand new book, so that's not great. But the color, the graphic design, the artwork is just beautiful. The introduction has lots of really interesting offerings, including rebirthing with self-love. I don't know, I've read all of these and they're just beautifully written. The second part is the chakras, and so we'll go through one of these in entirety, and then there's an 8th chakra, which she refers to as aura. And you will recognize some of the artwork if you have seen the decks. And so I've read most of the book. I'm planning to go and finish the book first, and then go back to some of these pages and do some journaling. I wanted to peruse the book first. But yeah. And I think I talked about Ho'oponopono in that video on August 13th. And there's more detail here of the practice, which is such a beautiful, beautiful offering. So let's go ahead to one of the chakra chapters. So this one is Manipura, yellow, of course. Manipura, solar plexus, a journey of self-love with clarity and power. And so she has the definition of the Sanskrit here and talks about its location, associated body parts, the functions, and the Bij mantra is Ram. And all of the offerings throughout this book really are in alignment with what I teach and what I believe, and I love the way that she has shared her integration of these teachings. And so there is in every chapter a continuity of what's included in the chapter. A soul lesson, she describes the associated sense organ with each of the chakras. I love the artwork. The element, of course. I remember in my first chakra immersion, one of the things that we were warned about when we were in our Manipura month, in our solar plexus month, was to be mindful of stubbing our toes. The whole connection with perception is really interesting when you spend some time with Manipura chakra, the gift of strength. There is plant wisdom for each of the chakras, and sensual therapy, which is a really beautiful offering in each of the chakras. There's a ritual, and there's a recipe for each of them, which is really sweet. You are the center of your world. And then we go on to Anahata, heart chakra. So I am so happy that I purchased this book. I know it is available as an ebook, and I believe this particular edition may be sold out. So if there are copies on Book Depository or Amazon.com or anything, to grab them now, because I'm assuming it will be reprinted, because it's just so beautiful. So this came out in 2018. As I mentioned, the book came out in 2018, and the matching card deck came out this year in 2020. It comes in a 2-part box, the size of the cards, and comes with this quite hefty little white book, which we will look at in a bit. For each of the chakras, there are 4 cards. There's a ritual card, a soul lesson card, a gift, and then the general message for the chakra. And so for the root, we have release to Mama Earth, the gift of freedom, the soul lesson is trust, and the ritual is honoring cycles. For the sacral chakra, for Swadhisthana, we have the gift of creativity. The ritual is body worship. Flow with life is the general message. And the soul lesson is surrender. And these cards are from the chapter we looked at in the book. The soul lesson is clarity. The ritual is celebrate life. The gift is strength. And the general message from the solar plexus is cleanse and protect. And I think these are my favorite cards. The ritual is healing connection. The gift is gratitude. The general message is breathe in prana. And the soul lesson is joy. For the throat, the soul lesson is truth. The gift is command. The ritual, sound healing. And the general message is resounding sound. For the third eye, the ritual is self-devotion. The gift is knowing. The general message is I am the light of my soul. And the soul lesson is perception. For the crown, the ritual is grounding. The soul lesson is presence. The gift is connection. And the general message is I am who I am. For the aura chakra, the soul lesson is nobility. The ritual is astrology. Astral travel is the general message, and the gift is dance. And lastly, there are 4 wild cards: Ho'oponopono, elevate, change, and star, making a total of 36 cards. So not a large deck. The little white book that comes with the cards is quite extensive. It's a lovely publication. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you or read to you. Self-love is imperative for you to be the graceful, confident, and radiant human you are destined to be. Self-love is the only sustainable path to serve others without self-depletion, frustration, or resentment. An authentic practice of self-love will ensure that you are a self-validating, compassionate, understanding, and forgiving person who others will trust and tremendously value. And then Akal goes on to explain how to use the cards. And there's a couple of spreads. The chakra system is briefly explained, but this by no means is enough information to understand what you're working with. So you would need some kind of a supplemental reference if you were new to working with the chakras. For each card, you have an expanded meaning as well as a suggested practice. So it's really beautifully done. The gift of freedom, find freedom and joy in self-expression. And then here is the practice suggestion. Explore dancing with loving abandon. Dance away your doubt and be the authority that says yes to fun. Listen to your heart and allow your feet and body to be guided in a moving meditation. When you feel freedom in doing this, you will be touching the continuum of existence instead of the crude logic of your surroundings. So yeah, so it's a really kind of extensive offering for each of the cards. So I can imagine using this deck over a period of, I don't know, 6 months or a year, and really working with it as a practice deck. There's a picture of Akal and the book. A couple more things before we have a look at the mini decks. I forgot to mention that I trimmed my deck, so it originally came with this yellow border. There also was a discussion in the August 13th live about some of the keywords or some of the lessons on certain cards not being in alignment with how I teach the chakras. And just wanted to let you know that since making that video, I have read more of Akal's book. I've read more of the Little White Book. And what I've come to understand is that we really can't separate the teachings of the chakras, and the integration of the messages is so very, very important. And so as I read through her description here, I really understand where she is coming from. But the so this particular card is in the heart chakra, the soul lesson of joy, card number 13. In the teachings of yoga, the right of the second chakra, the sacral chakra, is joy. And so in working with a deck where things are a little different than you may be used to or you may have been taught, I think it's really important to take some time to integrate the messages and the intentions of the author before quickly judging or jumping to any conclusions. And I have absolutely no problem in working with these cards and sharing the messages that Akal has in the larger book as well. And here are the two mini decks also created by Akal Pritam, inspired by Frida and Let Go. The strength of Mexican artist Frida Kahlo's creative spirit inspires unapologetic self-expression and celebrates the potential to overcome great challenges. These 40 beautifully illustrated reading cards each offer an elevated perspective to lift you onto your path to fulfill your creative destiny. And from the back of Let Go, these cards serve as reminders to stay focused on your creative destiny and future success and living your life with purpose. When you let go of all things that no longer serve you from last year, last month, last week, or yesterday, you can live with greater presence and inner peace. Let's start with Inspired by Frida. These cards are not in the order they were originally packaged. I have shuffled and used the cards several times. I am going to have to repair this box. It's coming apart. These cards are so colorful and beautiful. And I will show you the card backs as well too. On some of the cards, there there is a word that you could use for inspiration, but there's something about these cards that just, you feel the heart of, I don't know whether it's the expression on the faces. It's almost like it's one of those decks where you can get lost in the energy of the expressions of the faces. And if you're looking for other faces to have in your deck collection, people of color, people of different cultures, it's so stunning. And I did another video on 10 ways to use mini decks. And one of the things that I love to do with these mini decks is just to leave the cards in random places for people to find. Because on the backs of these, there's inspirational messages on the back of every card. And these ones being so colorful, I just feel like they're so evocative. You know, you could just make somebody's day finding a card like this. So that on this deck, the backs are all the same. The artwork does not change from card to card, but the message does. So let's just have a look at these 3 messages. Meet with a dear friend, drink some tea and talk about happy things, enjoy each other. Let your creativity take you between nothing and everything. Your heart knows the way, and give the world hope with your warm smile, effective etiquette, and graceful heart. So, yeah, if you love color, it's just so beautiful. So from what I understand, most of her artwork was self-reflection, self-portraits. And this deck has inspired me to learn more about Frida Kahlo. And this deck, because it's so colorful, also could inspire energy or chakra medicine if you were pulling these cards along with a tarot deck. So, for example, if this card came up with a fiery kind of reading, or it could bring fire or energy to a watery type of reading. Right? We've got the cactus and the yellow color and something like that. So I think this deck has there's a lot of possibilities in different ways you could use this deck. And I like that the faces point right and left and all around. So yeah, so that's the Inspired by Frida mini deck. And Let Go. This deck, you get a lot of artwork because on the backs of these cards, there's different artwork. They're not all different. There's some repeats, but there's a lot of different patterns on the backs as well as the fronts. So I'll show you a few of those. I am really in love with this deck. Again, beautiful expressions on the faces, and I love the watercolors and the moods. I feel the energy of these cards deeply. And there's a couple of them that are coming up again and again. I've had this deck on my front doorway altar for a while, and I haven't pulled all the cards yet. There's a few of them that just, I'll show you one of them when it comes up, that has come up again and again and again. So, the energy of the islands and all the plumeria. I absolutely love plumeria. Look at that one. I feel like so on the backs of these cards, so there's one with the hibiscus, and that one, and that one. I actually haven't counted how many different card backs there are, but there are several different. Well, that's a different variation on that one, as is that one. But what I mean is that you get a lot of bang for your buck with this deck, because there's so many different card backs, and the borderless art on the front is just stunning. A few of them have borders. Where is my card? So definitely feminine energy. There are no men in this deck. This is the card that keeps coming up over and over. I can't tell you how many times I've pulled it. And the message on the back of this card is, let go of the old tales and write your own adventure story. A few more. Anyway, this deck just, I don't know how it's sitting with you, but there's something about the flowers and the water that I deeply, deeply connect with this artwork. Thank you. Thank you for being here today, and let me know what you think of Akal's artwork, and if you have worked with the Self-Love Oracle or her book or either of the mini decks, I'd love to chat with you in the comments below. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.